12. Displays of Mother Nature.
Welcome to Damn Nature, You Scary Saturdays.
Number 12. The European heat wave. For Europe, 2003 was the hottest summer on record since at least 1540. France in particular was hard hit, with 7 straight days of temperatures in excess of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. That was a drastic change for an area not known for having very hot summers. Several countries experienced health crises, and the overall European death toll was estimated at up to 70,000 people. Number 11. The Tri-State Outbreak. The deadliest tornado outbreak in U.S. history happened on March 18, 1925, when at least 12 tornadoes occurred across large areas of the southern and midwestern U.S. The nearly 235-mile swath of destruction was the longest recorded in the world, crossing from southeastern Missouri and into southwestern Indiana. At least 747 people were killed, while nearly 2,300 were injured. Number 10. The Iran blizzard. Although details can be a bit difficult to dig up, this blizzard that hit Iran in 1972 is regarded as one of the deadliest in history. Over a week-long period, more than 10 feet of snow were dumped across outlying areas of central, southern, and northwestern Iran. The southern part of the country received as much as 26 feet of snow, resulting in the deaths of entire villages. In all, the blizzard resulted in the deaths of an estimated 4,000 people. Number 9. The Vargas tragedy. In December 1999, the Vargas state of Venezuela was inundated with torrential rains and flash flooding. The debris flows that followed killed tens of thousands of people, laid waste to thousands of homes, destroyed bridges, and led to a total collapse of state infrastructure. The neighborhood of Los Corrales was reportedly buried under nearly 10 feet of mud, and many homes were washed into the sea. Entire towns like Cerro Grande were completely wiped out, and more than 100,000 people had to be evacuated. It's said that over 15,000 people died during this disaster. Number 8. The world's deadliest avalanche. It happened in Peru in 1970. A 7.9 magnitude undersea earthquake in the Pacific Ocean shook regions of Ancash and La Libertad. Also known as the Great Peruvian Earthquake, it affected an area larger than Belgium and the Netherlands combined. Mount Huascaran, rising around 22,000 feet and located in the Ancash region, was also affected. A great part of the mountain's north side collapsed, causing an avalanche mass that was around a half-mile wide and a mile long. Approximately 80 million cubic feet of glacial ice, rock, and mud advanced 11 miles, averaging speeds over 200 miles per hour, and buried the towns of Yongay and Ranraherka, killing an estimated 20,000 people. Number 7. The Indian Ocean Earthquake and Tsunami. A magnitude 9.3 undersea earthquake centered off the west coast of Sumatra, Indonesia in the Indian Ocean triggered a deadly tsunami that struck the coasts of several South and Southeast Asia countries. The earthquake and tsunami are estimated to have killed more than 230,000 people in 14 countries. The country hardest hit was Indonesia, with over 167,000 deaths, followed by Sri Lanka, India, and Thailand. It was the third biggest quake ever recorded on seismograph and one of recorded history's deadliest natural disasters. Number 6. The BHOLA cyclone. This was the deadliest cyclone ever recorded. It struck present-day Bangladesh and India's West Bengal state in November of 1970 and flooded many low-lying islands of the Yangtze River. Winds estimated at up to 130 miles per hour struck the area. Flooding resulted from rising water levels that overtook the shores. An estimated 500,000 people died in the cyclone, giving it the world record for the deadliest storm. Number 5. The Tangshan Earthquake. Tangshan was an industrial city in the People's Republic of China. It was also the epicenter of a magnitude 8 earthquake in 1976. The densely populated city numbered about 1 million residents before the devastating quake. The death toll was estimated at over 240,000 people, or close to a quarter of the city's population. Number 4. China central floods. Following years of sustained drought conditions, China was bombarded by heavy rainfall in 1931, and it never seemed to stop. The Yangtze River burst its banks and flooded several areas. That was followed by the Yellow River and the Huai River, both overflowing. The devastating results included nearly 4 million people dead from drowning, disease, and/or starvation. More than a quarter of China's population at the time, or over 51 million people, were affected by the central China floods. Number 3. The 1918 flu pandemic. Striking in 3 waves, the influenza pandemic killed more people than died in World War I. The origins of the disease still aren't clear, but one theory suggests the first wave in 1918 can be traced to Haskell County, Kansas, in the U.S. When soldiers on leave from Camp Funston, now known as Fort Riley, visited relatives in Haskell, they may have contracted the infectious disease and unknowingly carried it back with them to the base. As the soldiers moved on to other bases, the disease seemed to follow their movements. Other theories suggest the disease was first observed in Europe and parts of Asia. Whatever its true origins, it didn't take long for it to spread all around the world, infecting an estimated 500 million people. The second wave was the deadliest, known to kill victims within 2 days after symptoms appeared. The third and final wave hit in the spring of 1919, and by summer of that year, the virus had seemingly run its course, but not after killing up to 50 million people. Now, this was also known as the Spanish flu or Spanish influenza. Due to Spain's neutrality in World War I, newspapers were not censored from reporting stories about the flu, and that gave the false impression that Spain was especially hit hard by the disease. Number 2. The TOBA super-eruption. Around 75,000 years ago, there was a supervolcanic eruption at the site of present-day Lake Toba, located in Sumatra, Indonesia. The Toba catastrophe theory holds that the event triggered a global volcanic winter that lasted up to a decade, and may also have triggered a cooling episode that lasted 1,000 years. Volcanic winter is caused by volcanic ash that blocks the sun, and the Toba event may have caused average global surface temperatures to drop up to 5 degrees Celsius. That extreme alteration of environment may have produced a global ecological disaster that destroyed food sources of humans, resulting in a drastic reduction of population and possibly whittling the human race down to no more than 10,000 mating pairs, and some sources claim only 40 such pairs were left at one point. There is evidence suggesting that today's humans are descendants of a small population of up to 10,000 mating pairs that existed around 70,000 years ago, which would roughly coincide with the Toba super-eruption. Number 1. To paraphrase an old saying, never wake a sleeping volcano. And this one woke up with a vengeance. After lying dormant the past 3 years, Japan's Mount Sakurajima erupted with a spectacular display of lightning, smoke, and flowing lava. Located on the southern island of Kyushu, the 3,600-foot-high volcano belched forth a column of ash that rose more than 16,000 feet, which was about the same size of the ash plume spewed during its last eruption in 2013. And how did volcanic lightning manage to develop inside that massive plume? Actually, scientists have debated if the lightning is caused by ice particles forming in the plumes, or whether it's caused by the electrostatic discharge of the ash itself. There's evidence that both mechanisms can create different types of lightning inside erupting volcanoes. As opposed to lightning that forms in thunderclouds, volcanic lightning often travels upwards or sideways through an ash cloud. Thankfully, no casualties were reported due to the eruption or to the lightning.
Join us next week for Damn Nature, You Scary, Saturday.